Hello, it is Wednesday, April 14th, 2021, and today, this is the early stream, so we're going to be working on cloning an existing game. We're going to be working on, I think it's Chicken Invaders. Yeah, that's the name of the game. Hey, Percentage Guy, what's up? By the way, the next Gravelbox update will have sound. That's good to know. Well, I mean, the other one had sound. I think you mean background music, right? Oh, I scared you. Apologies, I did not mean to do that. Hey Elias, how's it going? So also check DPC. So I just checked, guys, tell me if the background music is actually playing, because I just checked my headphones and I actually can't hear it, but according to OBS it's playing, so I don't know if it's actually playing or not. What are you remaking? So Elias, we're remaking, we are, okay, so it's playing. Okay, so basically my headphones have just decided to be stupid. That's good to know. So Elias, we are remaking Chicken Invaders, and I said Invaders, not Chicken Invaders. Specifically, we are remaking Chicken Invaders 2. So it's this game. It's really fun. You should definitely go play it. There's like a 30-minute demo, I think, or maybe it's a 2-hour demo, I can't remember. But it's a great game. It's just lots of fun. You just kill chickens, and that's really it. But anyway, our progress so far. We have sort of our little ship here that moves around. Let's call the game Chicken Invaders Acid Edition. Yeah, we could totally do that. I don't know how legal it is to do that, but we can check into the legality of that. Anyway, if I press the Q key, it will spawn a new wave of chickens. And we were working on the weapons yesterday, so we can actually, kill chickens now. And they kind of follow a little bit of a pattern here. What we need to do today, or what I intend to do today, yes, the SH is intentional. Oh, I see. So what we need to do today is we need to add some animations. But Elias, I don't remember if I've asked you this before, but do you use, I know that you're in Vulkan stream a lot, do you use Godot? Because I know yesterday we were talking with Vulkan about the differences between like Godot and Unity and how they think. So you use that, okay. Oh yeah, you shared, I remember now, you were showing us a game that you made for a game jam. I remember now. Fine, Acid Invaders, okay. So whenever I face the camera, bad things happen. Yes, okay. That's because it cannot figure out the chromatics. Here we go. Okay. Oh my god, why? Why is it being so lame? Oh yeah, you were the one talking with him about putting penguins in the engine. Yeah, unfortunately I don't think he's gonna do that. I mean, to be fair, it'd be kind of cruel to the penguins, but I mean, they're imaginary penguins. So whenever I face the camera, it changes the color balance. I think it's fine now. Oh my god. What do you think of the next Gravelbox map? I don't know what you mean, what do I think of it? I haven't seen it, so I don't know. Did you put a thing on Discord about it? I know you said that you were working on like a Plinko map for it. That sounds interesting. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna put penguins in the engine, unfortunately. On the server. Oh, did you actually put it on the server? I have like 50 different. Oh, okay, that's cool. Oh, I like the selection menu now. That's really cool. Okay. And you know the ragdoll with the 0G, it looks like OG, like the OG ragdoll. Okay, so what we need to do now is we need to actually do some animations. We're gonna do very crude animations because I can't animate for anything. So we have our little ship collider here. So in Unity, whenever you want to create animations, the thing that I usually do is I create like an animations folder. So we'll just go to create folder animations. And so for each object, I typically store the animations in its own little folder. So these are going to be the ship animations. And what I will do, and so the easiest way to create an animation in Unity, yeah, I thought the old selection menu. So Elias, have you used Unity before? Like, how do you feel, I guess, about the differences between Unity and Godot? I always like to know how people think about it. Now with the icons, it looks good and also more space. Yeah, the icons, or adding the icons is definitely a way to do it. Though I eventually have to add a scroll bar. Yeah, scroll bars in Unity are arguably one of the most annoying things on Earth. So there's 2D animation. Oh, this is interesting. I've not seen this. We're going to be completely ignoring that. Tried it a long time ago and did not understand it. Ah, okay. Yeah, it seems that it's a little bit different to Godot. Like the idea in Unity is that you don't have, I think, as many, you tend not to have as many nodes. You just have simple game objects and you just attach various things to them. So like, the player it's a player controller, but it's also a unit, so it can take damage. You know what? I wonder. So for unit component, I've always wondered what the little checkbox meant. It means that you can enable and disable stuff. And so some components have it and other components don't, and I think I just figured out why. Yes, okay, so it doesn't call update. So this doesn't call update or anything else. So I think I understand it now. So if I add private void update, then this should show me the checkbox, right? Guess what? I'm about to release the new private beta update. Okay, we can probably try that later. Okay, so yeah, that's exactly what it is. Okay, that's good to know. I did not know that. So yeah, that little checkbox basically means that that means that it has a update sort of function on it. That's cool to know. I'm very curious why rigid body doesn't. That's very interesting to me. Huh, that's very interesting. I don't know why that would be true. But anyway, to create animations in Unity, as I was doing, so we need to go to Window. I think there is an animation. So I think we open the animation window. I just realized I haven't subbed on YouTube yet. Oh, okay, that would be cool. I think there's the VODs channel where you can see like all the previous VODs if you want to do that. I just sort of upload them when I can. We also need the animator, so the difference between the two is that the animation, I know how to use animations. Oh, that's good. So yeah, the animation, I'm explaining it for the people who are watching the VODs. So we have the animation stuff. This is like the current animation that you're using. This is the animation sort of blend tree and stuff like that. We can also add parameters over here, and we can have layers. I think we're only going to be using layers. The Unity animations work similar to Blender. Yeah, the Unity animator is super powerful. Do you make any videos that are not VODs? So I used to make gaming videos, but those were not that popular, so I kind of stopped doing it. I'm also kind of not that good at it. I have been thinking of making like shorter videos on various like C# topics, but I don't know if people would watch them. That's the only thing. So I've been thinking about that. But yeah, because some of the stuff there's a lot of stuff that people do in Unity that I don't like. By the way, are the animations relative to the parent object? I don't know. I think, so percentage guy, I think you can control that with like root motion and stuff like that, but I don't actually know. There's also like layers and stuff you can do that make it, I don't know, easier and harder to deal with. Or that make it, like they change how the animation works. Because if they aren't, then great, because the pistons will be easy then. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I think you can control that with the animation layers, like what they're relative to. But anyway, now I have to figure out the lerping. Yeah. So anyway, what we need to do, so if you want to animate something, or if you want to easily create an animation, what you can do, did I put the animator here? No, okay. So to actually animate stuff needs an animator component. So we have this component, and what we can do is we can basically put this on the player, and then whenever we select the player, it'll say to begin animating player, create an animation clip. So we click create. We're going to go into animations, we're going to go into ship. Did you paint that spaceship? Yes, I did. I copied it mostly from Chicken Invaders, but I did create it, like I did do the painting, and I actually did draw it. So this is going to be ship fire. So we're going to create the little fire animation. So basically the way that I create all of my graphics is I use Inkscape. I kind of cheat. So what I did, so I'll show you what I do to actually create my graphics. So I really cheat. So I create a thing and I call it images.svg. So I use SVG graphics, and then I go into Inkscape, I grab a screenshot of whatever video game I want to copy, and then I just trace over it. So if you look at this, this ship matches basically 1-to-1 with that one. It's just been scaled a little bit. But yeah, that's what I tend to use. And so that's how I made the chicken as well, is I just did this. And so if you see, it actually basically matches almost directly with the chicken. And then that way you can kind of touch it up however you want. And then you can move the SVG stuff around. And the good stuff about SVG is that you can rescale it without losing any resolution. It's like I can take this and just scale it almost infinitely, and it doesn't lose any resolution at all. And then I just export it to like GIMP or something, and then I edit the layers individually. I'm gonna close that without saving. Yeah, that's how I do that. So for instance, the chickens, images, chicken. The way that I usually do it is I have like the outline as one layer, and then I have like the base coloring, and then whatever dynamic stuff I want. So for instance, the shirts in this case, they can be dynamic. So if we go into like the enemy here, if we go into the outline and the shirt, I can actually change the color of the shirt. Like that. So it's kind of cool. We can have like acid shirts. So that's what I do, and that's kind of why I do it, is because it gives me a little bit of control. This one I didn't do anything with. Oh wait, what on earth? Oh no, that's fine. Yeah, this one, none of it is dynamic, but I'm probably going to go back and make some parts of it dynamic. So the other advantage to doing this in Inkscape is that I can go back and I can edit some of this stuff retroactively, and it looks all the same, as opposed to having to do it right and then save the SVG file, or not the SVG, but the XCF or the PSD. I don't have to do that. I can just have everything in Inkscape, and it's much more compact. So yeah, that's how I do that. But anyway, in Unity, whenever you do animations, so you can create an animation clip, and for our case, I think it's going to be like I usually use a 60 frame animation. It doesn't really matter how many frames it has. You can always speed it up or slow it down later, just as long as it, works for you. It could be a 2-frame animation for all we care. But anyway, all it does. Oh, hey Omar, how's it going? We're working on some animations now. I'm going over sort of how to do that. But for the shooting, I think what we're going to do is we want the player to, basically the player just kind of moves down when it shoots and then it comes back up. So it needs to go pretty quickly. Just looked at your channel. How are the past few videos a day old? So I do post the videos sort of in bulk. I have been bad about it this past couple days. I think I have maybe 5 or 6 videos in the queue that I actually need to upload. Or not upload, but I know there's 3. There's the 2 from yesterday and the 1 from Monday that I need to still upload. And then the ones from last week I still need to switch to active. I'm very bad with my YouTube. I need to be better. I apologize. But yeah, so this, so the way that the animation goes, I think you'll like Travel Box main menu. Yeah, I hope so. So the way that this goes is to animate, all we have to do is we click this little red circle, and this is enable/disable keyframes. So Unity uses like a keyframe animation system, so you click this, then we click where we want to go on the timeline. So what we do is, I don't know, at 1/3 of the way through the animation, I want the player to be here. And then maybe at, well, actually no, I think that's fine. I think that's probably fine. And so you get this kind of, you know, kind of firing animation, kind of like that. Well, actually, wait a minute. No, I want the player to go back, like that. Yeah. And so we can play this a little bit faster. You can't play it faster in here. I don't know why the animator doesn't have that. I don't know why the animator doesn't have that. Oh yeah, we have to select this to get the animator. There we go. Oh, but that only changes the graphics. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, that's not good. Okay. So hang on. Just move the keyframes. Yeah, the problem is that this is not gonna work. I'm gonna have to delete this. Let's copy this. I think we can copy you, and then I'll create a new game object here. This will be the collision. And let's turn off keyframe mode. There is a way to move everything. Yeah, well what I can do is I can move the player, but I don't want to do that because the player itself, like the actual root object, the problem is the root object follows the mouse, so then the mouse and the root object are going to be fighting with each other. So what I'd prefer to do is I'd prefer to move the graphics and the collision down, but just have the mouse do what it's going to do. I'd prefer that. And that means the rigid body itself can also leave. But anyway, we're gonna copy this, and I'm gonna hope the collider stays. Oh, we're still in animation mode. No, we're not. Just do that for 1 sec. It's gonna have some weird problems. I want to see what that looks like. I think what'll happen is I think the animation, I mean, we can do that for 1 second. My theory is that the animation will just simply override the mouse, and it'll look all derpy. But I mean, we can try it. So what we'll do is we'll just delete all this. I just don't want the two fighting because the behavior is not defined. Like you're not supposed to do that. So okay, what we want to do is, I don't know, we'll just have the player end up down here. That'll be the fire animation. Copy this. Also, I'm never gonna fix the rotor seizures. Okay. So now we have our little animation, we can play it this way. That's fine, I'm just gonna speed it up in the animation tree. So go into the animator here. What we want to do is when the ship is not firing, we want sort of an empty state. So this is like the state machine. Whenever the state machine is in this state, it'll be firing. When it's in this state, it'll do nothing. Every layer, like whenever it enters, so this is where it starts, like when the scene starts up, it starts here, and so it'll automatically transfer to ship fire. We don't want to do that. We want to actually, oops, no, we don't want to do this. We want to automatically go to like the idle state. So I'm going to set this as the layer default state. So on the entry, we'll just go over here first. I'm going to set this to idle. No moved keyframes, that makes it so much better. Fun fact, the Plinko will have around 400 circles. Oh, that's cool. No, move the keyframes, that makes it look so much better. I don't think so. I think the actual speeding up is fine. It doesn't really matter. Like, I'd prefer to have just more frames. I think it's fine. So we have idle as default. If it has no motion, it'll do nothing. So what we want to do is, whenever there's a certain, whenever the player fires their weapon, we want to actually move over to ship fire, or play this once, and then move back automatically. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to make a transition. If you move the keyframes, you have more control. Not really. I mean, it doesn't really change anything. Cutting the number of keyframes in half is the same as, like, moving the keyframes down by half is the same thing as doubling the animation speed. And we actually have more control with the animation speed because we can change it. Like, it doesn't really matter either way. I just prefer to have animation speed like a constant length because they're easier to combine later. So what we want to do is we want to have a parameter, which is going to be a trigger. So what this will do is this will trigger, it's like a Boolean value that we execute exactly once. So we're going to call it fire. And so we can hit the trigger, and then whenever the transition associated with the trigger is fired, it will unset the trigger. So it'll only play once. That's the basic effect that we're going to get here. So from idle, we have a transition. It would look better to have the ship go back fast, then move back slowly instead of both phases. So that's why so whenever I did the animation, that's why I put the, you'll see. So that's why I put the all the way back keyframe here, is so that it would go forward. It'll go back twice as fast as it'll go forward. And so if we play this at double speed, it'll move back much faster. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to play this at double speed. You'll see in a second. Basically, this is the transition here, the ship idle to ship fire. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a condition, and that's going to be based on the fire trigger. And I am not going to have an exit time on this. So the exit time basically means that the current animation will finish playing before our animation, like the new animation plays. And we're just going to change this to it doesn't have an exit time, and then the transition duration is going to be 0. Because idle doesn't do anything, it doesn't make any sense for it to, you know, wait for anything. It's just going to immediately go to ship fire. Then we'll make a transition back. And then this one will actually have an exit time. The exit time will be 1, and we'll have the transition duration be 0. And the reasoning for that is because whenever we fire, the fire animation actually takes us back to the idle position. So there's no point in blending anything. We already blend back to the idle animation perfectly anyway. So we also play this at double speed. So we can show the animation in Unity before we do anything. So, ooh, aha, yeah, you see, this is the problem. The animator is fighting with the mouse. So you see the player's not actually following anything anymore. Yeah, that's the issue. Is that this is what I didn't like, is that the animator, like if I turn off the animator, see it now follows the mouse, yeah. The animator and the actual mouse fight with each other. And so that's exactly what I didn't want to happen. So what we have to do is we have to fix this. So we just select player again, then in the animation, rather than moving the player's position, we can just remove all of these. What we'll do is we'll move the collision, create an empty, this will be the collision. What we will do is we will move this, let's copy this, copy the component, and let's paste this, and let me hope that it actually keeps its stuff. Did it actually keep? Yeah, it did. Okay, that's amazing. I'm very happy about that. Great. So now we can remove this, and we can remove the rigid body because we don't need it anymore. And in here we can just say rigid body. Rigid body 2D. Actually, we might. I actually don't remember how this works. I think as long as. No, I don't remember. Let's actually keep the rigid body over here. I apparently can't do that. Alright, fine. Keep the rigid body here. We need to set the gravity scale to 0, and then we can set the drag to 0 as well. I think this still works. I don't remember though. Anyway, we are in animation mode, so I'm going to turn on keyframes. I'm going to grab the graphics and the collision, and then we will move both of those back a little bit at 1/3. That'll be fine. The ship will go down much faster than it'll come back up. And we'll do that. Alright. And so we'll turn off animation mode now. So now, if we go into here, what should happen is we can still control the ship, but also end up with the case that we can also go into parameters. It's very hard to see, unfortunately. Let's go into scene, actually, because in scene we'll be able to see it much better. So player... Oh, maybe we won't. Where'd the player end up? It ended up here, okay. So the player ended up here. What we can do is we can click fire, and you can see that it'll actually, like, do that. So now we can set this to maybe 3. Yeah, there we go. I kind of like that. So now we can unplay, and it'll keep its changes since we changed it in the animator itself. Now what we need to do is we need to actually call that animation. So the way that you call an animation in Unity, it's not that hard. We're going to go into Edit Script. We will have a protected animator, animator. There we go. I'm just going to call this animator, and we will serialize it. Whoops. We will serialize it. And then what we're going to do is in update, whenever we click the mouse button, all we're going to do is we're going to say animator.setTrigger, and we called the trigger fire, so this will just set the fire trigger once. And so that'll play the fire animation for us. Whoa. Oh, that cookie. Hey, how's it going? Hey, that cookie, how you doing? Thanks for the raid. I haven't seen you before. Do you do game development and stuff? I would assume so, since you're raiding a game dev channel. Ooh. GLHF. Okay, any key? Yeah, we're just working on a clone of Chicken Invaders, and we're adding in some animations. And let's hope that they work. I did not assign the animator in the inspector, so this is not going to work. Just walked into Science and Tech to find someone to raid. Ah, okay. What kind of stuff do you normally stream? I might have to check out your channel. So we have the animator here. Let's just put this in there. Alright. Did an API wrapper. Oh, okay, that's cool. So yeah, now our... Ooh, that's interesting. Hey, I like that. That looks very jarring. I don't know why. Because that's sort of what the original looks like. Well, I think the problem is the mouse. It's either going down too far or the fact that the mouse appears. So before I release next private beta, it just looks weird. Oh, it plays in extra time sometimes. Oh, I know the problem. Yeah, I know the problem too. Gotta go, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's good. I'll see you, man. Yeah, thanks for the raid. Alright, so the issue, because you sped it up. No, the animation looks weird because it's actually firing as fast as it can, but part of the problem is that we need to move the animator into the unit component. I totally forgot about that. It doesn't need to be in the player component. I mean, it might also have to do with us speeding it up. I'm not going to deny that, but at least part of it is that we need to make sure that we can actually fire the weapon. And we're just going to use... We can use null propagation this way, right? Can we really not? I think we're not supposed to. Okay. Fair enough. Alright. Whoa, that's interesting. Variable animator has not been assigned. Oh, that's fair. I like how the fact that it throws an error causes it to become a machine gun, because it's just spawning bullets every frame. Oh, that's amazing. Uh, what's happening is it's getting here and it's failing because the animator is not assigned, and so the next fire time is never updated. It made a laser, yeah, it really did. It turned the laser into a laser. Who knew? But yeah, that's the issue. Is that it gets here, it fails, and the next fire time's not updated. So the next time we fire, which is the next frame basically, this hasn't been updated, so we don't return. But yeah. So all we need to do is actually assign the, well actually, what we can do is we can say if animator. If there is an animator, then we set the animation trigger for fire. We'll do that. Alright. The reason that I'm doing this is because the chickens don't really have a fire animation. I mean, they could, but they don't. So yeah. Now this should work. It should look a little bit better. Or it just... oh, right. But of course, hit 10 objects in the spawn manager. Oh, cool. So you have 10 things that you can spawn now? That's cool. So I did not assign the animator up here. That's what I didn't do. Okay. So now we do get the animation. It looks weird still, but it looks better. Yeah, it only fires... yeah, okay. I like that a little bit more. Now the other question is, can we still take damage? Because I don't know. It appears we cannot. Okay, so something is broken. Oh, that's interesting. Object not... why is that dying? Oh, I know why that's dying, okay. So whenever you have on destroy stuff, the editor freaks out. It's perfectly fine. So the issue here is that the rigid body stuff's not working the way that we think it should. So the question is, let's remove this. And then does the rigid body need to be in here? I mean, I guess we could just put the rigid body on the bullets themselves, right? That's a better way of doing it. Let's actually try that. No, you have a rigid body, so the collisions shouldn't be failing. So the player actually doesn't need a rigid body. This actually doesn't require a rigid body. So why then is that not working? Is it because it's being moved by the animator? So apply root motion. Huh. That's very odd. I don't know why that's not working. So yeah, that's definitely not working. Let's check out the 2D version of this. So it looks like they're on the same plane. Huh. You have the polygon collider. That's odd. I think it's because it's being moved by the animator. Because I guess if it gets moved by the animator, then it is outside the physics engine, is that right? That's very odd. Honestly, I've not had this sort of issue before. So that's the attached rigid body, function, pad, size. Yeah, that's fine. Used by effector, used by composite. No, that's not working. Very interesting. Is it just that this doesn't get the notification? Because it's not... no, this should propagate up to its parent. If it's not controlled by the animator. Let's assume that it's not controlled by the animator. So if we create an empty here, and then, I don't know, not a rigid body, but a collider 2D. So we have like a box collider 2D. This should trigger the problem. This should trigger it. Because this is in graphics, this is collision. Yeah, this is not controlled by the animator, so this, oh, that's a box collider. No. You need a box collider 2D. That's triggered by the animation. Okay. So what are the other... so percentage guy, I know you said you just hit 10 objects, but I only see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, yeah, 7. So plus the piston. Oh, is it plus the piston plus the static? Is it the static circle, the static cube, and then the piston? Is that the other three? Or is there something I'm missing? This is interesting. Okay, so this is a trigger, that's a trigger. Not the piston. Okay. So let's see if this triggers anything. If it just has to do with the animator. So no, it doesn't have to do with the animator. If I say this is used by a composite, will function as a composite if there is a collider 2D in the game object that is attached to the rigid body that this is on. If there is on the game object that the attached rigid body 2D is on, it will not function with a composite until there is a composite collider 2D. I thought for sure that stuff was propagated up. Am I just wrong about that? Because I thought for sure that... So I put a rigid body 2D on you, and then we put this at 0, and we put that at 0. I thought for sure that stuff was propagated up in Unity. Am I just wrong about that? Or is that an old thing? That's very strange. Curiosity, if I take you, I just put you down here. Sure, all of that's fine. We're not going to do anything with you. That should be fine. Okay. Let's see what happens now. Okay, so that did take a hit. Okay. I thought for sure they were propagated up. Why is that not working? That's really weird. Why? And also, how do you actually make it so that it gets propagated up? So if I remove this and I remove this, then it should be the case that deleting this and then removing this, like if I add a unit component here, this has the weapon, this has an animator, but it'll never get fired. So if I add the unit component here, this is fine, or it should be fine. Actually, let's test this. So does it have issues with the animator now? No, the animator can control it and it's actually fine. Okay, that's good to know. The only question is, why doesn't this get propagated up? Because like this, as far as I understand, actually, do we even need the rigid body? I don't think we do. As far as I understand, whenever you have a rigid body on a child, it's supposed to send messages up to the parent. Or not a rigid body, but a collider. It's supposed to send messages up to the parent. Is that an old feature, or is that a feature that I just don't understand? Unity collider on child, call parent trigger. Something like that. Accessing a child trigger. How to detect collision occurring on child object. You can do this out of the box. Yeah. Child may be colliders, may be colliders. On collision entered. Okay. On collision enter messages will fire on a game object that contains the rigid body, reaching your parent control script without needing to write any relay code. Okay. So this does appear to have been a feature at one point. Has this feature been removed, or does it not work with 2D objects? So the 7 objects are the radio, plus the acid droid, plus the kinematic cube. Ah, okay. Does this not work for 2D? Unity detect collision on child 2D. A box collider 2D. Unity 5, I want to check it. When a collision occurs, Unity will search up the hierarchy for the nearest rigid body and run any scripts on that same game object. You will search up the hierarchy for the nearest rigid body. Simple way, make sure the rigid body is on the parent object. So does it only run... So, I mean, if I put the rigid body 2D here, it doesn't work. Like, we've tried this doesn't work. So we set the gravity scale to 0, we have the rigid body 2D. So we have the collider here, it's a trigger. 0G ragdolls now have a text saying 0G on their chest. Kinematic cubes have a K. Ah, okay, that's a good way to show the difference there. Okay. So whenever a collision occurs, right, what should happen is this should search the parent, and this should search all the way up the hierarchy. You don't have any collisions, right? Nope, no colliders, okay. So the collision should occur here. So it should search all the way up the hierarchy, and it should reach this rigid body and then run the code on this object, if I understand how that works. But it does not appear to work that way. Okay, yes, that's not working. Good. Is that because the player is not assumed to be a player? Is that because this unit is not assumed to be a player? Is that why? Did something break with that? This is the unit component. Animator health is dead. Take hit. Weapon.fire is player. So, But where does it check whether or not this is the player? So fire. Something break here? So reach for each projectile in projectiles. Projectile component, yeah. That just fires that. That's fine. Is player. Where does it determine get component, enemy component? So we just determine this here. So isn't it on take hit? So this is take hit. Where is this called? We've got to have screwed something up with this. So unit.take hit. It's debug.log. Let's log is player. So let's say hit. So in Unity, if you, or not in Unity, but in C#, if you put a $ before a string, it causes string interpolation. So what that will do is, we can say collider, or no, yeah, collider.name. Basically, we can say collider.name in these curly brackets here, and C# will replace this name string with whatever's here. So we can just put stuff in line, and we'll say is player, and we will say is from player. Whoops. We'll say is player, and we'll say is from player. And we'll put is from player here, and we'll put is player here. So basically, if these two are identical, that means that this thing will destroy itself and just not do anything. So let's see if it assumes that the eggs are hitting the player and it's not from the player. That might be the issue, because that might be what actually takes the hit. So yeah, it looks like that. Instead of doing hit.colliderName plus, yeah, as percentage guy said. Okay, so it appears that this is not registering the hits. Interesting. Yeah, this appears to just not be working. Because we shouldn't be getting this hit enemy clone, we should be getting hit player at some point, but we're not. So it seems like it's not actually registering the hit, but I don't understand why. Is it because the projectiles have a rigid body? Is that what it's doing? Also, are we actually using the rigid body on the projectiles? I really don't know why this is so broken. It's so weird. Yes, we are. Ah, that's really unfortunate. Because what might be happening is Unity might only be running the collision code on one of these, and it might be running it on this one. But I don't know. Well, actually, that shouldn't change anything. Ah, okay, I see what's going on. So it's not... Right, okay. So, build succeeded. Yay, that's good. Ah, so it is get component in parent. That's what we need to do. So here's the problem. So the collision code only runs on the projectile, and what this means is that since this collider is a child of the object that we want, we have to actually go into the parents. And I think get component in parent also uses... I think it also includes the object that it's on, if I recall correctly. Now this is probably a stupid question, but do you remember your first Unity project? It's not a stupid question, actually it's a good question. Do I remember my first... Oh god, what did I do in Unity? I think so, I think I do. I think the first thing I ever did in Unity, it was an interesting game. It was a game that, basically I went on the internet and I found a group of people that wanted to make a game. I think if I remember right, it was about someone who was exploring some caverns, and the idea was that these giant spiders had eaten vampire blood and had become like horrible and deadly or something, and this person was destroying them for some reason. I have no idea why that's a thing, but that's what they wrote, and that's what we built. It wasn't great, but it did work. What's the oldest project you still have on your computer? Can you show it? What's the oldest thing? So, oldest thing I have on my computer. That's going to be... Let me see if I even have this. Let's see, I had to actually put in my thumb drive. Let me see what the oldest one is. Let me see if it even works anymore. Oh wait, do I not have them? Oh wow, I don't. So the oldest one that I have is from 2016. But like the first one that I did was from 2019. What was this one? So there's a moving platform. Why? I'm looking at this. I'm trying to figure out what all this is. I actually don't know. Oh, I do remember what this is. Oh wow. Oh wow. I do remember what this is. This is old. The oldest one that I have is from 2016. Unfortunately, it doesn't really do anything. Most of the ones that I have backups of now don't do anything. Wow, I can't believe I still have that. That's crazy. Yeah, unfortunately, these all don't do anything. Sadly. Yeah, the old files that I have don't do anything, unfortunately. If they did something, I'd show them, but they don't. I remember them, but yeah, the oldest one I have on my computer was done for a game jam. It was back when I was still in college. I think it was like midway through college as well. It was like a 2D one. I don't think it works anymore, or I would show it, but I think that the Unity version's too outdated. Recurses upwards, returns null, no components. Only components found in active game objects will be returned. I don't know if this searches the current component though. Like, this is the one thing about Unity's API that is just completely useless, is that get component in parent. It would be really nice if it told me, like, the only question that I would ever think that I would have about this is if it actually searches the current version and or the current parent or the current object, and it doesn't say that. I don't understand why. And also, why is there a different page here? I don't understand. Okay, there we go. This is the actual... That's all you need. It's so annoying. Like, I don't understand how Unity just has the most useless documentation that has ever existed on planet Earth. Like, why is documentation something that people just fail at constantly? Alright, so, Unity... Okay, so basically the problem is that since we had moved the collider down into an object, Like normally the player would take the hit and the unit component is what we use to take damage. So the collision stuff needs to search the parent because we moved it down. So now this should work. So it appeared not to have anything to do with the collider, or the animator. There we go, now we can take damage. So yeah, now we can also take damage while we shoot bullets. Good. And we don't take damage from our own bullets. Awesome. Love it. I know it's very strange animation, but this is what the original ship does, and so that's why we're gonna do it. Check DC server. Okay, give me a second. Let's check DC server. There is an update. Fixed a bug, but... Displayed cube, interesting. New UI, there's a Plinko map, identifiers between different types of objects, interesting. Kinematic cube. Okay. We'll definitely have to look at the kinematic cube later. Also, I am speed up. I am speed up with these updates. I don't know what you mean I am speed up with these updates. I assume you mean you're getting faster with the updates? Like you're speeding up with them or something? But anyway, we're gonna go animate the chicken now. Because why not? Okay, so this is gonna be interesting. So we're gonna have a similar problem here where we need to have the collider change a little bit. But anyway, we're gonna add an animator to this. In animations, we'll have, I think you just had a stroke. What? So you said, read it again. Also, Jesus, I am speed with these updates. Yeah, so I added the word up in there. I am speed with these updates. I don't know what you mean I am speed with these updates. That still doesn't really make that much sense. I assume you mean you're fast with the updates? Yeah, I did add a word in there, but I don't think the word changed very much. I think my brain just said had the word up at the beginning, or had the word up and then, yeah, I don't know. I am speed is a meme. Oh, okay. I assume, is it from, like, I am speed? Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to... Oh, interesting, actually. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say, it's hard to parse what's a meme and what's not. So this would be chicken in text, like that. Okay. But I am not super up to date with all the memes, either. So, could just be my issue. Anyway, what we want to do... Ooh, I didn't do this right. Okay. So the problem, yeah, so the problem is that the center of this wing is here, and we'd have to rotate it around this axis. So if we wanted to animate this, I mean, what we could do is we could have the wing kind of do something like that. But what I actually want to do is I want to create an empty parent here. F2, and then F2, Control V. Whoa, wait, what? No. I don't want to do that. And then we'll have the graphics be right here, and then this can have a offset. So basically what we want is we want to make sure that we have the pivot mode on and that it's on local. We want to make sure that the parent object here is at the right offset. So basically we're going to rotate it around this point, and so I'm going to put the wing down here. So now, when we rotate this, we can do kind of like this, and then we don't actually have to move the object, all we have to do is rotate it. We're going to do the same thing with the foot. Let's just delete the left versions of these. We'll do the same thing with the foot, so we'll create a empty parent, and then we will move this to about here, because that's where we want the foot, and then we'll move this back to about there, and just make sure that it's roughly in the right place. And so we'll do that, that way we can animate the feet. Okay, this will be the foot dot right, and I'm just going to keep it. I'm just going to keep the like naming convention relative to where we are. Like I know that that's not the chicken's right wing, but I don't care. It's the right wing from our perspective, and that's all that really matters. For gravel box, I'll have to check it out later if that's what you're about to ask. Because I want to get this, or I want to keep this as sort of the beginner development stream. Thinking check out gravel box because I don't know how much time I have. The earliest we can probably check it out is the early part of, like, the first part of the next stream, which is like at 3 p.m. my time, so U.S. Central or U.S. Texas. Otherwise, we can check it out tomorrow. But yeah, I don't really want to interrupt this stream because we need to actually get the chicken stuff done. So the collider stuff. I don't really want the wings to collide. I want this to be collision. Alright, so one of the things that we want is we want to make sure that this collider is a little bit better, so we'll remove the circle collider here, and then we'll add the collision here. So this will be a circle collider 2D. I'm glad it makes sense. I'm glad at least one of the things I'm saying makes sense. This can go down here. But yeah, I do kind of want to check it out, but I do have to, yeah. I want to keep the streams a little bit consistent. Put that there. Yeah, there we go. I mean, the head isn't going to collide, but it's going to be hard to hit the chicken in the head. That will be a difficult thing to do. But anyway, for the animator, we are going to create an animation here. So to begin animating, we'll just do this. This will be the chicken idle. Chicken idle. Actually, the later streams are 11 my time. I think you can do it at the end of the stream because 11 my time, I already have something to do. It depends on how far we get with this stream. If we get... So what do I actually want to do with this stream? I want to do some animation stuff. I'd prefer to have the background animated as well, but I don't really have a background, so it depends on how far we get with this. If we get through all the stuff I want to get through, we can check it out at the end of the stream, maybe the last 20 or 30 minutes. But yeah, it just depends on how far we get. Alright, so this will be the chicken idle. And so what I want the chicken to do whenever it's idle is I want it to kind of bob up and down a little bit. So maybe at like half of the animation here. What we'll do is we'll move everything down. Whoops, we'll move everything down. Oh, whoops. We need to set keyframes on, so at 1/3 of the animation, move everything down a little bit. And then we will just copy this, and up here we'll put this here. And then at 1/3 of the animation, we'll put that there. Alright. So roughly speaking, it's just going to go up and down a little bit. Yeah, something like that. That's probably fine. And it's going to stay down for about 1/3 of the animation. That's also kind of fine. And so the other thing we want to do is we want the wings to animate a little bit. So I want the wings to kind of end up, well, there's a couple things we could do with the wings. I think what we're going to do is we're going to have the wings maybe flap twice. So we'll have the wings end up roughly about there, like -30. It looks very linear. Yeah. Yeah. Please add easing. Actually, I think we can do that. Yeah, right click in the keyframes. Yeah. Can we multi-do that? Like, or do we have to... Oh god, I forget how you do this. It's not there. It's also not there. Do we actually have to do... No, it's not that. Oh god. Do we have to right-click all the key... Is it that we right-click all of the keyframes like that? Yeah, auto, clamp to auto, free smooth. Is it free smooth? Is that what we want? Say free smooth and free smooth? Is that what it is? Is it free smooth or what is it? Or is it not? I don't remember how this works. I actually don't know how any of this works. It's been a long time. Is it auto? Both tangent? Both tangents at... Yeah, both tangents at what, though? Is it free, weighted, or constant? Is it weighted, maybe? I assume it's weighted. Let's check that out. No, that still looks very linear. Free? Tangents at free? Try different things. It doesn't seem to change very much. I think it'll look better whenever it has the wings animated. Let's put these at 30. And then let's put these at, let's say, minus 30. Then we'll have the wings end up down there. And then also we want them back up. Change the curves then. We'll mess with it in a little bit. I want to get all of the animation, I want to get all the frames sort of set up first. Then we'll mess with how the animations actually work. So I'll have you there, and then we'll have the wings down again here. Let's see how that actually ends up looking. Yeah, that's interesting. No, I don't like any of that. That's because that ends up down there, and then it doesn't have frames there. That's the problem. Alright, so we can copy that, copy that. Yeah, that's not. We can just clear these. So the wing left position, we can... Wait, this is... Oh, this has a position though. We want the rotation. Let's just remove these and remove these. As you can tell, I am awful at animation. So I think we can put this... Because part of the problem is that this needs to go through... This needs to basically be the same as the body. How that works. So actually, let's put this at minus 30. Let's put this at positive 30 over here. And then a little bit before, let's put them back up to 0. No, that doesn't work. Because I want it to not be... I don't want it to be at the same rate as the actual body movement, because then it looks... then it ends up looking weird. I think maybe we just have it sort of stall until it ends up here. Yeah, that seems a bit odd, but actually that might work, because that might actually work if we play this quick enough. Looks a bit odd, but yeah, it just stalls at the bottom for too long, but that's actually probably fine. We can do the same thing with the feet as well. So we can move the feet a little bit. Let's move them here. Let's have them kind of go up a little bit. So I don't know, minus 15 degrees? Minus 15. Then the same here a little bit after. They'll be at like 50, oh, whoops. This one here will be at 15. Then they will stall for a little bit. Kind of sit there. Oops. Control V and then Control C and Control V. Something like that. And if we play this, actually I might be able to play this slowly and it might work. Where is the actual chicken? It was in here. So we play this. Or I guess we could speed it up. I don't know. I don't know how animation works. So if we set, do we have to do this for every thing here? So we said constant. That's interesting. No, that makes it look worse. Linear? Edit the curves. I mean, I know that we can edit the curves, but like, I don't know that I want to do that. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Smooth to make it allow you to do things. Yeah, but the problem is that that's a lot of editing. That's like a ton of editing. I don't know how we do this in bulk. Yeah, like I really don't want to do this. Like I get that we can make this look better, I just don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to mess with that. That's too much for me. It's never gonna look that good, that's the problem. Curves can make it smooth. Yeah. I mean, I get that curves can make it look a lot better, but that's just more work than I want to do. Oh, these are different. Interesting. Yeah, I think if it didn't stall at the bottom like that, it would be much better. Like the chicken never really stopped moving. Maybe that's what's making it look weird. No, that even looks weirder. No, maybe not. I don't know. Sure, linear, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, that looks even weirder. I don't know why though. Like, cause you'd sort of expect it to change speeds. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna mess too much with it. So we'll select this object, and let's play this at, I don't know, 0.7 speed. And we don't really want to do much with that. Actually, we want to add an offset, right? Add a cycle offset. We probably want a parameter for that. At least parameter, one type of the parameter float. So if we add float, if we add the seed to this, the idea being that we should be able to set the seed randomly, and that should make it so that they all play at an offset. Because right now what'll happen is they will all play at the same rate, and it's going to look terrifying. Actually, that's not horrible. I mean, it's not great, but it's not horrible. Anyway. Why is this having an issue now? Because the animator, whoops, the animator needs to go in there. That's one issue. Actually, why are they having issues? Oh, it's because, no? I actually don't know why it's having issues. Error. Fire does not exist. That's actually fine. They're not firing anything, though? Interesting. Fire does not exist if animator... Can we animator dot get? Can we get a trigger? Or can we get a property get parameter? We have to use the index. Okay, well, we're not going to do that. What we'll do is we'll just parameterize it. So say public challenge. You have to use Unity light theme. I actually don't know how to switch Unity to light theme. I assume it's in the settings somewhere, but I've never messed with it. I did use it a long time ago. So say it has fire animation. Whenever you actually had to pay for dark theme. That was a thing. I don't know why that was ever a thing. We'll say if has fire animation, because the chickens don't have a fire animation. I actually don't know why this code is not working. You do not have fire animation, that's correct. So it's only the ship that does. You can go into scenes here in player. Am I really the only one who had light theme by default? Possibly. So you have a fire animation, okay. So now they should be able to fire again. Interesting, they're not actually firing now. Or they're taking hits immediately. Ah, they're taking hits immediately because the way that the projectile is detecting things. So the unit component... Oh no. Is it the projectile? If GameObject.getComponent, it's getComponent in parent. There we go. Remember when Unity Dark Theme was a pro feature? Yeah, I do remember that. The stream is dying. It doesn't look like I've dropped any frames. It looks like it's... Yeah, it doesn't look like this... It doesn't look like it's on my end. Maybe it is, though. If someone else is having issues, it's definitely on my end. Okay, here we go. Now everything's working. Hooray! Alright, so what we can do now is I want to set a an offset. I know the animation doesn't look that great, but it's fine. The original actually played the animations pretty slow anyway, but I want to make it so they don't flap their wings in unison. I want to set a sort of cycle offset, or in the animator it's called a cycle offset, but what we've done is we basically said, hey, whatever this seed parameter is, use that as the cycle offset. And so we just need to set the seed differently. So in the enemy component here, what we can do is we can say in private void awake, we can set that to something else. So in the enemy component, we're going to reference an animator. So I'm going to say serialized field, and we're going to have a protected animator, animator, right? And then we will say that the animator dot set parameter. I thought that would set a parameter. Parameter? Is there not? Oh, we have to say set float, right? Then that's how you set a parameter. And so we can give it a name here. So we're going to set the seed to random.range. Yeah, it doesn't look like any frames dropped. It could be a Twitch thing. But yeah, it doesn't look like it's a thing on my end, but maybe it is. So say random.range between 0 and 1. And that should give it enough of a cycle offset. I think that it's between 0 and 1. I think that's the only value. Oh, is it still dying, really? Interesting. I'm not dropping any frames, so it's either your machine or it's a Twitch thing. It could be a Twitch thing. But anyway, now that we have the cycle offset set randomly, oh, interesting. Oh, we didn't assign the animator component, that's the issue. So in enemy here, we have the animator. All we need to do is we need to click and drag it into here. And now we can set the cycle offset for each animator, and that should cause the chickens to animate a little bit differently. Ah, there you go. Now you see they're all at a different little offset, so now they don't animate in unison. I like it. Alright, well, I'm happy with that. It very much does look like Chicken Invaders. It's not perfect though. Oh, it's fine for you. Okay, that's good. Because I'm trying to figure out where the issue lies. It looks like it's on. It looks like it's on your machine, percentage guy. Unfortunately. Yeah, let me refresh. Okay. But yeah, I'm kind of happy with that. I think that turned out pretty well. Of course, it's not perfect, but you know, nothing ever is. So that's really. I think that might have been like everything I wanted to do today. Honestly, I keep thinking that the animations and stuff are going to take a lot longer than they do. What else can we do? Do you have the different weapons? Oh yeah, the different weapons, the weapon upgrades. That was something that I wanted to do today as well. We have about... Well, we have a little bit over 50 minutes. Okay, so we'll probably spend about 20 minutes on this, and then afterwards we will work on, or we'll go to Gravelbox. So what we want to do is we want to have a little thing. Oh, nope, still dying. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, let me know if it ever comes back. Actually, let me double check on my end. See what Twitch is doing for me. Let me see if it's buffering for me. Because it might be a Twitch thing on my channel. Maybe I said something that Twitch doesn't like and they consider misinformation. I don't know. It's possible. So let's check this out. So if I go to my own stream and turn this down. Okay, so what happens? It looks like I can load it pretty well. Yeah. And that's interesting. Okay, yeah. It looks like it's working for me on my phone, so the only thing I can imagine is that it has to be your internet. or one of the links between the US and Germany having issues. Maybe like a satellite just got eclipsed or something? That would really suck. But anyway, what we want is we want little things like, let me try to find it in Chicken Invaders. So the way that you upgrade your weapon in Chicken Invaders, there are little presents, I think, that drop every once in a while. Well, there's two things. There's presents, and then there are... what else is there? There's presents, and there's the little atomic-looking things. And so the presents will upgrade the, like, one weapon. So we'll say present. Does it appear... I'm trying to find it, but it's not coming up. It might be here? No. Okay. But basically there are presents that that drop and they upgrade your weapon. Like that little present. And so the idea is that you have certain weapons. I think in Chicken Invaders 2 there's red, yellow, and green. And so the red one is the little laser thing. The yellow one is like a laser beam that's kind of lame. And there's a green one that is more of a like laser bolt kind of thing. Has like a little electric kind of look to it. So there's that, and basically those upgrade different weapons. So if you have like, you have the green weapon at like level 3 or something, and then you get like a red present, it'll change your weapon to a red level 2 weapon, I think, is the way that it works. And then there's a little like atomic looking thing that will upgrade whatever your like current weapon is. This is the yellow weapon. That one upgrades any weapon. So that's kind of what we need to do. And right now what we're going to do is we're just going to have the little atomic one that kind of upgrades any weapon. But what this means is that we need a way of representing like pickups and stuff. I think we're going to call it like a pickup component. Not to be confused with pickup community, which is something completely different. So I have pickup component. And so what this will do is this will upgrade whatever. This will basically do any number of things, but right now we're just going to have it upgrade the player's current weapon. So what we will do is we will have all of this, and since pickups are only going to be available to the player, we'll have a private void on trigger enter 2D. So we will have a sort of trigger collider on this, and I think maybe we'll have like versions that give you missiles and stuff. Gotta go. If you can still do Gravel Watch, Gravel Box, I'll watch the VOD then. Oh, okay. So yeah, I will, if we get time for Gravel Box, actually I'll message you on Discord if we get time for it. And tell you if it's there. So yeah, I'll see you, percentage guy. Have a good day. So, what we're going to do is we're going to make a thing that upgrades the player's current weapon. First we have to figure out really how to do that. I think we're going to make some kind of upgrade scriptable object. And that'll just tell us, like, if we have weapon level 1, you know, the next weapon level is X or something like that. That's probably what we'll do. But in the case of pickup, what we're going, or in the case of this pickup component, what we're going to do is we're just going to call a function. This is one of the few cases where I will say that inheritance is a good, well actually we're not even gonna, let's not even use inheritance, we don't have to. Or wait, do we? No, we don't. Okay, we won't even have to use inheritance. So what we'll do is we'll create a scriptable object, and this will be pickup. This will be like whatever your power-ups are or whatever. And then we will create a scriptable object, which will probably be some kind of definition. So what we're going to do, let me just create it really quick. So we can use, we'll say pickup definition. And so what this will do is this will be a scriptable object. Then we'll have a create asset menu. A create asset, or actually do we need to do it this way? Is there any reason to do it this way? These aren't going to have, no, these will have parameters. Yeah, we'll do this then. So say create, or no, say menu name is equal to pickup slash, or yeah, actually, this will be like the parent class. So this is one of the few times where inheritance is going to be useful to us. So we'll create a pickup definition, then we'll create a public virtual void on, or I guess we'll say just activate. We'll pass in the player component. No, there's no reason to even do that. We'll just make this virtual, and so what virtual will do, is if we create a class that is a child class of this, so right now this pickup definition is a child class of scriptable object. If we create something that's a child class of pickup definition, then we can override this functionality. So in this case, what we're going to have is we're going to have a weapon upgrade pickup, have a weapon upgrade pickup, and this will be a child class of pickup definition. And so we're not ever going to create a default pickup, so what we'll do is we'll create an asset menu for this. Whoops. Okay, well, we have to retype all that. So we'll say create asset menu, and then the menu name will be equal to probably pickup slash weapon upgrade. I guess, I don't know. It's always weird to me how to do this. No, because this, it's all weird. But anyway, we'll just leave this here for now, or we'll say, you can type override in Visual Studio and it'll give you a list of things you can override. So in the case of activate, we'll just override that. And then we'll say debug.log picked up weapon, or picked up weapon upgrade. So now the reason that we're going to do that is that basically we're going to have a bunch of different types of pickups. So we'll probably have one for like lives, probably have one for missiles or something, and then in this case it's going to upgrade certain weapons. And so what we did is for each one of those things, so for missiles we'll have a separate class. For I don't know, various things will have different classes, and those will have different versions of this function. And so what we can do now is in the pickup component we can say that we have a protected pickup definition. And then this, I'll just call this definition. And then we'll set this to a serialized field, and then whenever the player enters, all we're going to say is definition.activate, and then we'll say gameObject.destroy, or we'll say destroy this game object. So we'll just activate the definition once, and then we'll destroy this game object. And so we'll implement this a little bit later, but let's just first check that all this works. And also in the component itself, when this awakens, we're going to want this to fall towards the player, so we'll need a rigid body for that, and then we'll also need a rigid body 2D, and then this will be the rigid body. And what we'll do is on awake we'll say rigid body.velocity is equal to vector2.down, and then we'll say we'll just leave it at vector2.down for now. Actually, no, we'll move it at half a unit a second. That's what we'll do. So now, whenever this awakens, it'll fall towards the player. Whenever it hits the player, well, what we want to do first is, right now this will work on anything. We need to check if this is the player. So we'll say var player, or not var, we'll say player component player is equal to collider.get component in parent player component. And the reason that we do this is because the collider that we have is a child of the thing with the player component. So we'll say if this isn't the player, then we just return. So we basically ignore anything we collide with that is not the player. Otherwise, if we do collide with the player, then we destroy ourselves and activate the pickup, or we activate the pickup and destroy ourselves. So to test this out, we can do this pretty easily. There's also an issue with it, but we'll fix that later. So we'll call this the pickup. So we're creating a new game object here, and we will add a, let's say, Circle Collider 2D. I don't know, that can have a size of 0.2. That's probably fine. Let's hide the camera. Yeah, relative to the player, that's about fine. This is going to be a trigger. Then we're going to add the pickup component here. And we need a rigid body. So say a rigid body 2D, because that's going to let us sort of fall. Actually, we don't even need to set the velocity. We can just set the gravity scale. No, I want to set the velocity directly, because the gravity scale is kind of weird. But we could do that. We could just use the gravity scale. That would work too. And now we need to fill in sort of the definition. Actually, let's also create a circle here and make this, I think it's 0.4. I think that's sort of the size of it, roughly speaking. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So this is our little pickup here. And this will be the graphics. Yeah. Now we need to fill in this definition. So what we need is we're going to have a folder for pickups. Right? And so what we'll do is we will right click, we will create a pickup, and it will be a weapon upgrade. So this will be a red weapon upgrade. And right now we don't have any fields that we can fill in here. But since this weapon upgrade pickup is a subclass of the pickup definition, we can just click and drag this right here. And so now what should happen is whenever we touch this, it should print pickup activated. And I think we're going to need to make that fall a little bit faster. So now we get the picked up weapon upgrade. So now we have an issue though. So let's say we don't pick this up once it falls forever. Like once this falls off screen, it's going to live for eternity. So now that we know that we can pick it up, that's great. But once it gets off the screen, we can't do anything with it, right? So it still sits here in the inspector, as we can see, but we can't do anything with it. So what we need to do is, first off, let's change the speed to 1, so we can just remove the modifier there. And then we want to make sure that we destroy this thing at some point, so we'll say destroy. We'll say destroy game object after, I don't know, 5 seconds, right? So basically this is just a delayed destruction of this object. So what it'll do is on awake we'll say, hey, if nothing has happened to us in 5 seconds, let's just destroy ourselves. So that'll mean that if we don't pick this up, then it'll just clean itself up after some point. And you can watch it over here in the inspector. I'm not going to pick it up. But you can see once it reaches about 5 here, it'll just vanish. And so yeah, that means that it cleans itself up. And let's make that closer to like 10. Because if it spawns to the top of the screen, actually, let's make that 12. Because if it spawns to the top of the screen, it'll need to fall approximately 10 units before it like goes down all the way. I think the camera has a width of 5, so the screen has a size of 10. So yeah, if we wait about 12 seconds, whenever we see that reach minus 12, it'll destroy itself. Yeah, perfect. So now we can pick it up and we should get the same effect. Yeah, okay, cool. But we don't actually upgrade our weapon, so we'll need to fix that as well. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this into a prefab, because we can work with that a bit later. Also, I'm going to close this because we probably don't need it. So the question becomes, how do we actually upgrade our weapon? Because we have a list of weapons. So let's say if we're at weapon 1, how do we know which weapon to get after that, right? So there's a couple ways that we could do that. Given that these are scriptable objects, you probably guessed that we're going to create an upgrade scriptable object. And so the idea of the upgrade scriptable object is that it's going to hold a list of weapons. And so what we'll do is in the weapon upgrade component, what we'll reference is we'll reference the upgrade. And then in the player, we'll probably reference the weapon level. So this is where things get like really kind of complicated with scriptable objects. So what we'll do is we'll have an upgrade thing. And so what we'll do is we'll have a, we'll have an upgrade. And now I guess upgrade. Upgrade is probably fine. So we'll have some kind of upgrade scriptable object. So this will be called upgrade. So this will hold all the different weapon levels, right? And so whenever we're at weapon level 0, we'll just go into a list here and then we'll look at the next upgrade level. So we'll say scriptable object, and then we will create asset menu. And so the reason that we're putting this into a scriptable object is because we have different weapons for different levels. So we have like sort of the green weapon, the red weapon, the yellow weapon. So we'll have different versions of this scriptable object for those different weapon levels. So the next thing we need is we need to import system collections generic because we want a list. So basically we want this to hold a list of weapon upgrades, or a list of weapons specifically. So this will be a list, we'll have a public list of weapons. So this will be the different levels for the upgrade. So we'll have, you know, the red weapon level 1, red weapon level 2, 3, 4, etc. So we'll have all of that. And then what we need to do is, once we have this, we need to actually store this in the player. Probably in the player controller. Or is that fair? It's in the player controller, or should it be in the unit? Well, the unit has the weapon. No, we probably need this in the player controller, because this is what needs to... Actually, technically we need this in the game manager. Yeah, it'll be in the player controller, it'll be fine. So we'll have a public, this will be the upgrade, this will be the current upgrade that we have, or upgrade path that we have. And let's make this public actually, because we'll need to, well, no we don't need to make that public. We can't just say public void upgrade weapon. Actually, we don't even need the upgrade path to be public either. We can serialize this. Yeah, we can serialize this, and then we can say protected, and then protected upgrade, and then this will be upgrade path. And so what we'll do is whenever we have the weapon pickup, right? Not in the pickup component, but in the weapon upgrade pickup, what we'll do is we will say find object of type. This will be the player controller component, and then we'll just call upgrade weapon. Later on, we'll pass in which weapon we want to upgrade, like which upgrade path. But for now, we're just going to call upgrade weapon, and the player will just know. So what we'll do is we will say that we also need to store the weapon level. So we'll say protected int weapon level. And then we'll say serialize field. And this is probably going to start at 1 instead of 0. Is that true? No, that will start at level 0. That way the indexing will be easier. So what we say is in upgrade weapon, we will say the level for the weapon. So we'll say weapon level plus equals 1. This will cause issues later, but we'll do it anyway. So we'll say weapon level plus equals 1. Then we'll say that unit, we need to actually change the weapon in the unit component. So we'll say weapon here, make this public. That'll be fine. It'll cause some issues, but it'll be relatively fine all the way down. Okay, so we'll say unit.weapon is going to be equal to, and then we're going to go into the upgrade path, which is upgrade, and we're going to go into the levels of whatever our weapon level is. So we're going to say that the current weapon for our unit is equal to upgrade path dot levels, and then at weapon level. So if we had weapon level 1, we'll upgrade to weapon level 2, and then we'll say upgrade path of levels dot weapon level, and so we'll be at weapon level 2. So that's how we're going to do that. And in this case, it should just work as long as we make all the things that we need to make. We will need to reassign the weapons in the prefabs, but it should be okay. So in here, the weapon got changed to nothing, so we'll put the egg weapon up there. No. Right, it's not this. That's the prefab. It's the actual egg weapon, right? So in enemy, the actual weapon that we need is the egg weapon. There we go. And then in player, we also got reset. we'll use bullet. Let's change these to level 0 indexed. So we'll have 1, 2, and 3. Go. So the player's weapon level here will be equal to bullet 0. And then I think the player should have, yeah, the player has an upgrade path. Okay. So we need to create upgrade paths, right? Also, pickup, that needs to go into prefabs. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we're going to create a new folder. This will be the upgrade, or upgrades. And so we'll have this as, we'll create a new upgrade path. This will be the red weapon upgrades, yeah. So now we have a list with 4 elements. So we can lock the inspector here. We can go into weapons. Then we can click and drag all of these into here. And so now you have 0, 1, 2, 3. And so now, I believe this will work. No, it won't, because what we need to do is we need to, in upgrade path, we need to set this to be the red weapon upgrades. So, let's test that out. So now, we shoot 1 laser, so if we grab this, now we should shoot 2. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So exactly what happened there. What happened is that the pickup component collided with the player, and so it used this red weapon upgrade, and so it, right. So it collided with the player. Let's go into, not here, but in pickup component. So it collided with the player, it triggered this, and then it said definition.activate, and so the definition is the weapon upgrade definition. So we found the player component, and then we called upgrade weapon. And so in upgrade weapon, we said weapon levels plus equal to 1, so it was 0 before, now it's going to be equal to 1. Then we said that the new weapon on the player is equal to the upgrade path at level 1. And so we went from the weapon level, the red weapon level 0 here, to weapon level 1, which fires 2 lasers. So that's what we did. Pretty complicated stuff, but it's not that bad. So the other thing is that we need to, at some point, make this upgrade only 1 type of weapon, but we can do that a bit later. And we also need to rename these to be a little bit more consistent. But, yeah. Since we do have the extra time, I think that's really all I wanted to get to today, because I think anything else would be a little complicated. Right, I need to actually go to... I think it's Game Jolt. Nope, not that. Yeah, let's check out Gravelbox. There. Is this the right version? I think this is the right version. This is the right version. Okay. Let's download that. Yeah. I got it. Yep. Interesting. Let me go to downloads here. I don't know why that happened. That's not what I wanted. Alright. Let's go to downloads, and I think this is done. Yeah, there we go. Let's extract all. Extract that to there. Alright, so Gravelbox is a game made by the Percentage Guy. It's made by, oh god. Alright, it's made in Unity. And so we're gonna mess with it. It has some new stuff. Apparently it also has sound now. I don't know what that's gonna sound like, but yeah, we got that. So tomorrow what we'll do is we will work on the different sort of upgrade paths, and we will also work on probably getting the background to scroll like it needs to, because right now it's just kind of a bluish background. Yeah, I kind of want this to be like a space background that scrolls. And then also we will have, what's it called? We'll have the chickens drop power-ups every once in a while. Anyway, let's check this out and see what we got. Yeah, Windows, you don't know what you're talking about. Alright. Oh, I like the title screen. That's cool. Things just spawn. Alright, let's go to the default level. Alright, so we have all the things. We have kinematic cubes now. We also have rotors. So did rotors get fixed, or are they still sentient? So one of the things you can do is you can cause rotors. Oh, interesting. Rotors seem to have been changed a little bit. So you can really cause issues by increasing the size of the actual rotor head in one direction and then turning them. Oh, you don't even have to turn them on. They just kind of, yeah, become sentient. So that's really fun. That's cool. Yes. Yeah, this is the game that Percentage Guy is making. This is what we mean by rotors becoming sentient. As you can see, that one has a weapon, and it is being terrifying with it. Yeah, it can just bash other little other physics objects around. It's great. It's not very happy. It doesn't like. I like how you can make it kind of rain as well. It's so great. I love it. Let's put some zero-G ragdolls around and see what it does to them. Oh my gosh, it's too much fun. It's too much fun. It just destroys the zero-G ragdolls. But yeah, this is the game that Percentage Guy has been working on. I think it's really funny what you can do with it. Well, let's see how the kinematic cubes work. Yep, we have kinematic cubes now. It's always fun. Okay. So the cool part is that the kinematic cubes actually, I think they interfere with the rotor. But yeah, you can you can make stuff. Just basically become sentient. It's great. But yeah, I think the kinematic cubes actually cause the rotor to have problems. Yeah, they do. It's so great. Oh, it's great. I love it. It's just intense amounts of chaos. What is that glitchy spinny thing? So it's called a rotor. Basically it looks like this. Actually, let me clear everything and just show you. So he has these things called rotors. Also the time scale's broken. Yeah, he has these things called rotors. And so what rotors do is they rotate, right? Like this part of the rotor will rotate. So if I turn it on, as you can see, it starts rotating. I can also turn it off. The problem is, so basically if we turn it on and then we put something above it, you can see it kind of throws it off, right? So the problem is that we can take the wheel for it and we can just increase the size of the wheel. And so what happens is, because of the way that the arm and the joints work, it starts to glitch quite heavily once you get it to be too large. And it just sort of has a mind of its own. It's very interesting. Oh, that's very interesting. Okay. But yeah, once the arm and the once the arm and the wheel become too separated, they kind of just explode into non-existence. It's great. We can also turn them into like alien kind of creatures, I believe. If we, what is it? We can, if we make them 0 in one dimension. Oh no, he fixed it. Oh no, he didn't. There we go. Yeah, they become sentient. They turn into these little creatures, which are fun. And if we turn them on, they actually have a little mind of their own. So yeah, they're kind of cool. That's what this spinny glitchy thing is. It's great. It's too much fun. I shouldn't be given the power to mess with this stuff. But yeah, one of the problems is that there's some glitches with it. Just because of the way that Unity physics works. Oh, it's great. Oh, interesting. So this one. Ooh, okay. So yeah, whenever they end up at a negative scale, they start to have other problems. But yeah, we can give this one a weapon. It's great. Oh, I love it so much. It's just so much fun to just, like, turn them into, like, really glitchy things and then just watch them glitch out. It's great. It has something to do with how Unity handles the physics, but, like, they seem to, like, get amplified over time, and then they just turn into, like, really glitchy objects. It's great. And then they just kind of bash the ragdolls around. Oh, it's so much fun. I don't know if he changed the explosives. to have a different like explosion size based on how big they are. Did he change that? No, he didn't. Okay. Oh, that's so great. But I think, oh, I don't think we can go back to the main menu. Also, there's text here. Interesting. Let's reset this. Let's clear everything. All right. There's also the kinematic cubes. So one of the things we can do, we can spawn a bunch of game objects here. And then we can also push them around. We can push them around with lights and also with cubes. I think we can do this faster with this. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we can have like kinematic cubes. And so the kinematic cubes can push other things around. It's like this cube can push around all the circles. Also pretty cool. It does cause some issues though, especially if we get things to like the edge of the screen. It gives them like crazy amounts of velocity just because of how Unity works. Oh, it's great. It's too much fun. Okay, so what else can we do? There's no kinematic circles, unfortunately. Let me Alt-Tab out of this and let me look at the other map. As far as I know, this is the only way to close it is with Alt-Tab. Alright, let's open this again. Let's check out the other map. So apparently, there's Plinko. Oh, it has the circles here, okay. So we put ragdolls in these and just watch them suffer. What if you fill the screen with rotors with the balls and make the buggy rotor? Yeah, so I want to see what happens. I like that idea, Elias. Let's check that out. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a bunch of kinematic. Unfortunately, I can't really fill the screen with the different orbs, but I can fill this like really small area, and then we can cause like a glitchy rotor to exist in here and just see what happens to it. I think eventually it'll glitch outside of the area here. Well, let's check it out. But it would take too long to actually fill the entirety of the screen. But we'll just fill this small area. But yeah, I think it'll glitch out of here eventually. Yeah, let's check it out. So I think all we need to do is make it like a little bit larger, and then, oh, maybe not? Oh, there we go, yeah. Let's see what it does to the balls. I think they actually kind of dampen the effect, oddly. Not entirely sure how that works, but I think they do. Okay, so let's just push it around a little bit with, there we go. I was gonna say, I think we can grab this now. Oh, we can't push it back. Oh, interesting. Why not? Why can we not push you back? No, get back in there. That's your home. No, no, go back in there. That's your home. This rotor's being annoying. No, go home. I like how it's kind of stuck between all the Plinko things. What if you make it more glitchy? Let's try. Let's see what we can do about making it a little bit more glitchy. Oh, we can make it into, we can't make it into one of the sentient ones, unfortunately. Let's do that. Okay, there we go. Now it ends up over here. Great. Now let's turn it into one of the sentient ones and see what happens. It just does this. Oh, that's great. It just kind of sits around. Can we bury you? I don't know that we can. Let's try to bury it. Yeah, okay, we can do this. Now it's trying to dig its way out. Alright, so we'll turn that one, and then let's make a more glitchy one here. Let's give it a friend. Okay, we'll do this, and then we'll make it glitchy in this direction. Alright. So now the two should, whenever one hits the other, okay. Maybe not. Maybe it's just never gonna glitch? Oh, interesting. It doesn't seem to do that. Alright. Well, we can just give you a lot of kinematic physics, and that'll cause a lot of issues. There we go. There we go. The problem is that all the balls just dampen it. I can't make it any more glitchy, unfortunately. I'm trying to give it a lot of momentum, and that usually causes issues, but it's not really working, unfortunately. I like how the other one is just still freaking out. Yeah, they keep escaping, unfortunately. They're just too good at escaping. Let's see if I can... Oh wait, I almost had that one back in there. What will happen if you make a bowl of cubes and fill it with balls and then remove the cubes on the bottom? What'll happen if we make like a bowl? It should flow. So let's get some light in here. And yeah, let's get some light in here, and then we'll make like a bowl of cubes, kind of like, these are the kinematic ones. Yeah, okay. Let's make a little bowl here, and then we'll remove this one later. And then yeah, just make kind of a little bowl. And then put like a bunch of orbs in here. Yeah, that'll work. Let's spawn them here just because it'll be more interesting. Okay. They do kind of flow like water. It's unfortunate because whenever, like back whenever you could turn the rotors on, or whenever the rotors spawned active, you could create like sentient kind of, like they would all turn into a liquid. It was really cool. Yeah, let's see what happens if we unleash this. Oh, right mouse button, delete. 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 Yeah, they kind of flow like water. It's kind of cool. I mean, you could make something very close to, like they do approximate water because they're like, you know, little orbs. Yeah, you could make something that was kind of like a fountain almost. There would be no real way to push them back up, but yeah. Well, actually with the rotors you might be able to do it. I wish I could lock something in place, because if we could lock something in place, actually, hang on. So if I do this, wait a minute. If I do this, and then I just shove a kinematic cube there, and let's see what happens. Hang on, I think I've locked this rotor in place. No, that's not what I meant to do. That's very interesting that that happened. But I think I actually locked that rotor in place for a bit. I think if we're very careful, we can lock this in place? Can lock this in place? No, I guess we can't. Alright, so if I spawn a rotor here, I think I can lock you in place with that, right? Yes, I can, but the problem is... Yeah, okay. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to lock a rotor in place so that I can then turn it on and have it kind of just move things around. So if I turn you on, now I should be able to do this. And they should be getting velocity, right? Yeah, okay. So what we might be able to do is we might be able to have like water get kind of pushed through. So if I do this, and we do put a bunch of things like this, what'll happen? They should get a little bit of velocity, right? I think they are. I think the rotor's kind of like, oh, maybe it's not. We can increase the size of this. There we go. Yeah, it's giving them a little bit of velocity. It's kind of like a water pump almost. We might be able to make like a better version of this actually. Let's clear everything. And then let's create a little platform here. Alright. Then let's create some rotors. And I think we can, no, it's Control F. No, it isn't. Is it Control R? No. It's, oh god, light, go away. It's like that. Then if we just put you here, yeah, I think you're stuck now. So now if we create another one of you, and we want to change your size to be kind of like that, and we want to change you in that direction, kind of like that. Then let's put a kinematic cube there. Great, so we should be able to turn both of those on. And so now if we just put, okay, well that's not what I wanted to happen. No, 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 hey, get back here. Get back here. Can you make a tower of rotors? I think we can. Okay, so if I put you there, and then I put you there, and then I put you there, and I put you there, and I put you there. What I want to do is I want to see if we can make like a water pump almost. Because I think we can, and then we'll try the tower of rotors. So let's see. We create our little reservoir up here. we'll just kind of have the water kind of flow this way. So I think we can do this. I think this will kind of flow like water. Yeah, then we'll try the tower of rotors. Yeah. Oh, these aren't turned on, unfortunately. That one's very excited about this idea. Okay. So unfortunately, they are getting stopped up in here. That's not good. Let's move these down a little bit. Alright, we can delete these. Let's just do a little bit of that. Let's delete that. Let's make it easier for these to get through. Alright. Let's see if we can use a little bit of force to push these out. Apparently not. More like a tube. More like a tube of blocks and put rotors in it. Yeah, I was trying to think of like a tube of blocks that we put kind of rotors in, but down here. And I wanted to see if it would work. It does appear that the rotors are helping. But not that much, unfortunately. We might need to put them in... Well, I don't know. I don't know where we'd have to put them. Okay, that's interesting. So they will sit on top of each other and not fall. I think they will. Let's see what happens here. Okay, that's apparently just not working. The rotor has escaped. The rotor has escaped. We have a breach. Oh no. Alright, let's just clear everything. Yeah, I think the rotors, they will sit on top of each other and not fall. I think that's the thing. So I think if we just spawn one here... maybe not. Oh wait, actually, I think we can do the thing... No, we can't. Okay. Yeah, they don't really sit on top of each other and not fall. They do get glitchy, though. Because, like, I think if we do this... with rotors in between. Like, 2 towers with rotors in between. 2 towers with rotors in between. Oh yeah, we could actually do that, too. So yeah, we could build 2 towers with rotors in between, but it looks like we can't build a tower of rotors, unfortunately. So the idea would be that we'd build 2 towers like that, and then we'd have some rotors in between. Yeah, it blocks the walls. Yeah, something like that. And then we will have the rotors kind of at the bottom here. So we'll put 1, we'll put 1, we'll put 1, we'll put 1. Whoops. I think I can put you there. Yeah. And there, and there. And then we can bolt these down. So we can bolt you down like that, and like that, and like that, and like that. And like that, and like that. And then we can turn all of these on. Something like that. Unfortunately, I don't think we can turn this one on. Oh, no, that one has escaped. No tight, so they fit 1 rotor in between. Oh, okay. Let me try that in a minute. I want to see what happens whenever we put the balls in this. But I think we're on the same wavelength. Okay. Yeah, the rotors aren't really doing much. They're just escaping. Yeah, they're just escaping. Okay, let's do a really tightly packed one. So put 1 wall here. And then we'll put 1 rotor down. Okay, so that's fine. We put like 1 rotor down, and then we bolt this rotor in place. And I think we can use control, no, it's control R? Yeah, control R like that, okay. So we can bolt that in place. Yeah, okay, now that's nice and bolted in place. And then we can put 2 towers here, a second tower here. And then I think all that's gonna happen, unfortunately, is I think it's just gonna do nothing, unfortunately. Yeah, unfortunately it just doesn't do anything. Let's turn this on. Yeah, it doesn't really do much, sadly. I think we can scale this in one direction though. Cause like some serious glitching. Oh, that's a very interesting effect right there. And then rotors on top of it. Oh, okay. Let's get rid of all this. Ah, okay. Rotors on top of it instead of balls. Alright. I don't know if they do much, but let's try. You can say rotor, rotor, rotor. Let's pull this down a little bit. Let's put that there. Can widen this out ever so slightly. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, and then we can bolt these down and turn that on. So that one's flipping out, that's fine. That we can turn that on. Okay, cool. That one has escaped now. Alright. Yeah, I think they just tend to escape, unfortunately. Tend to become sentient and escape. That's basically what happens. Yep. That's very interesting that they end up in that sort of stable position. But yeah, there are some physics issues here. Let's put some balls in here just to make sure that the rotors don't escape too much. See how much pressure they can create. So we can get some pressure going from these. We can bolt that there, we can bolt that up. Okay. And then we can delete this, and actually let's just put a bunch of balls in here and build up a lot of pressure at the bottom and just see what happens. I don't think the rotors have enough force to actually do anything. And I think Unity is just crying right now. Maybe a bit less tight so they don't fall down. Yeah, I think we'll try that in a minute. I like how it's actually pushing the rotors out, like all the pressure. So what we can do is we can actually increase the size here of this, and then we can just push all of these out. Oh, that's great. That's funny. It just creates rain, basically. Oh, that's hilarious. Alright. So let's redo that, but let's make it a little bit less tight. So we can do that. Get rid of all that. Something like that. And then something like that. Go away. Okay. So like we can make a tower of them, but unfortunately they do kind of just tilt and twist a little bit. But actually, we have enough of them in here. Maybe something interesting will happen. Oh wait, we can set the time scale to 0. Oh right, I forgot we can do this. We can set the time scale to 0 and then turn them all on. And then we can see what happens. Because yeah, they do become sentient when their time scale, or when they're around like that. Yeah, they kind of do that. They become like liquid. It's kind of funny. Yeah, I kind of like that. Anyway, yeah, that's the kind of stuff that you can do in Gravelbox. Is you can do kind of interesting stuff. And we can have explosives as well. Unfortunately, these don't all detonate at the same time. Actually, wait a minute. What happens? Hang on. If I set the time scale to 0 and then... Oh, that happens. Okay. Interesting. They get removed immediately. Can I reset this? Oh, interesting. Okay. So what I can do, actually, I can set the time scale to 0. And then we can interact with all of these. Is that right? I think that's working. Hang on. Why is that not interacting now? That's interesting. Hold on. Let me check something. Wait. Am I getting infinite interactions with this? What if you set 0 and make just a tower of balls? 1 second. I want to see what happens here. Huh. That might be a bug that I just discovered. So if I set the time scale to 0, right? And then I set Q and E, right? So if I hit X and I hit X, yeah, the second explosive here doesn't seem to be detonating. It only detonates 1. Oh, okay. So I think, interesting. So I think what happens is if there's multiple stacked on top of each other, I think they still exist in the scene. So if I do this, wait a minute, okay. So what I'm gonna do, let me create a cube, like this. And I'm going to put an explosive right there. And so if I detonate that, and then I spawn another one right there. Oh, okay. So this is how you have to do it. Because I think if I put 2, then yeah, I think the first one blocks the second one or something. Okay, let's reset. Interesting. That's very interesting. Okay. And then you said, what if you set it to 0 and make just tower balls? Well, you can actually make a tower without setting it to 0. Because of the way that the colliders work, they're kind of weird. And you can just make like an infinitely growing tower. Let's see what happens when it hits that little Plinko thing. Oh wow, that was interesting to watch. It just kind of like separates. Alright, so let's clear everything and then we'll just reset or set this to 0. Then I think if we do this, I think they'll actually explode out. All from the same place, but you know, let's find out. For science. Let's see what happens. Interesting. Oh, there we go. Okay. That was interesting. It's basically if you just set it to 0, you don't have to do anything. Like, this is just a bunch of balls all in one place. And so now if we reset it, it doesn't do anything because these haven't moved, but if we just grab it, it just splits out. Well, that's cool. Alright. So let's create a ragdoll. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that was a very interesting effect. Okay. That is about it for this stream. So we're a little bit over, but that was interesting. Why did that happen? That needs to go away. There we go. Alright, yeah, that'll be it for this stream. Thank you guys for watching. I'll be back in about 2 hours with some more Unity game development. But yeah, thank